What's up guys, I'm Newbie Dave and welcome to the Weekend Update. Let's get started. So how's everyone doing this weekend? Last time we built this amazing ice farm that's floating up in the sky over here. Normally I like to avoid floating builds. I just don't like the way that they look. You can kind of tell from my build style that I like everything to sort of blend together and look like, you know, a village or a town that you would want to live in. So having stuff just kind of float up in the sky like this, not really my style, but I mean, ice will only form up in the sky unless you're in an ice biome, so we really had no other choice. And as I mentioned last time, one thing I love about this farm is how easy it is to expand. And that's something I did between episodes. I went ahead and added 2 more lanes and also doubled the length of each lane. So I now have 8 lanes that are 40 blocks wide. I've been up here just getting tons and tons of ice. I mean, harvesting this entire thing will get me like 8 or 9 full stacks of ice, which is enough to get a full stack of packed ice. And I've almost got enough packed ice to get a full stack of blue ice. So this thing is just an ice making machine and I am really happy with it. Now before that, I spent some time exploring the world around me. I went off in pretty much every direction except west. Went north, found a jungle biome, found some bamboo, found a lot of really nice new things, but guess what I didn't find, aside from dark oak? I didn't find any bees, and that kind of bothers me because bees, I mean, they're not like super rare, but they're also not super common, and I want some bees. I want some beehives. Oh no, oh no, oh no, what happened here? No, wow, this is crazy. Look at this, oh no. Oh my goodness, I have no... Oh. In case you haven't noticed, I have rotten luck with villagers. This is bad. I'm gonna have to fix this sometime, but it's actually not the point of this episode, so I'm just gonna leave these guys. Hey, you leave him alone. Oh my goodness, that's so bad. Fortunately, we've got our zombifier. We know how to fix this. Guys, I can't even begin to think how this may have happened. I've got... This whole inside is lit up. I've got these glowstone all around the outside. Oh, hello, hello. I just realized I'm not wearing my armor. This is bad. Yeah, this is really bizarre. There is absolutely no way a zombie could have spawned inside of this farm. There is just too much lighting. And with the gates closed, there's no way a zombie could have gotten in here. What in the world, Minecraft? You are driving me crazy with these villagers. Oh, look at this. I only have 2 golden apples. I can't even cure all of them. Oh, come on. I've got some gold back at my base that I found when I was exploring from some ruined portals. You're going to make me deal with this right now, aren't you? Okay, let's see. I've got to cure the librarians first. This is like a no-brainer. Maybe I can get 2 at once. And the rest of you, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to come back for you later. This is really bad. So on to today's episode, the thing that I actually wanted to do today, we're going to find some bees. Now if you're having a hard time finding bees out in the wild like I am, then don't worry, it is actually pretty easy to kind of force bees to spawn in this game. All you need are a couple of flowers and some oak or birch saplings. It turns out if an oak or a birch tree spawns or grows within 5 blocks of a flower, there is a 5% chance of it generating with a bee nest already in it. So all we need to do is, I've got my orchard over here with a bunch of oak trees, a bunch of birch trees. I'm just going to plant flowers next to each of these. And then we're just going to come through and chop down all these trees and replant them. And we'll do this over and over and over until one of them finally spawns with a bee nest. Now if you don't want to sit here and wait forever for these things to just grow on their own, like I don't, then of course you can just use some bone meal and just bone meal these things. And as long as they're not planted super close together, then they should grow pretty fast. Now 5% chance is not a super high rate, so I mean you're not going to get a bee nest within your first couple of trees unless you're just really lucky, so we're going to have to do this a couple of times. So here we go. We've actually got 2 bee nests. That's really nice. The reason I picked this topic for this episode is because I thought, oh, getting bees, that won't take too long. Just plant some flowers, plant some trees, and in a few minutes you'll have some bee nests. That took a lot of trees. I had to go through several stacks of bone meal. Probably planted around 40 trees, but we got 2 bee nests, which is twice as many as I was shooting for. So that's really good. Now, the bees are currently in their bee nest, so what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to use my Silk Touch axe, and I'm just going to go ahead and break this. And so if you break the bee nest with Silk Touch, you'll just get the bee nest. And if there's any bees inside, they're actually going to stay inside. If you break it with something that doesn't have Silk Touch, you're actually just going to anger the bees and they're going to chase you and sting you and then they will die. So don't do that. I'm going to break this one too. And the reason that I'm breaking them is because I don't want the bee nest to be over here in my orchard. I want them to be where I'm going to make bees. And even though I don't know where that is yet, it's not going to be in the orchard. It's probably going to be over here, maybe next to my XP farm or my nether portal. Like, this is where I'm going to be building stuff. So I'll probably end up doing a bee farm or a honey farm or something over here later. But in the meantime, I can just hold on to these bee nests. I will actually go ahead and put these bee nests in these trees over here. I think this is where I'm going to put my honey farm, is somewhere over here. I planted these bamboo just so I could grow them. I can remove these. So let me put a bee nest there, and you can see the bees just popped out because they were still inside. And I'm going to put a bee nest over here, and hopefully those bees will also pop out. I assume that there were bees in there. The nice thing about moving the bee nest and not just moving the bees, like with a lead or leading them away with flowers or something, is if the nest stays, then the bees could stay bound to that nest and they might wander off at some point. I think that ended up happening with a lot of my bees in my first season, is the bee nest wasn't too far away from where I ended up moving the bees to, and I actually caught some of them like going back to their original bee nest. So this way they'll stay with the nest because you move the nest. So I'm going to go ahead and start breeding some of these. We'll get more bees and then we can start harvesting this honey. Now let me show you really quickly the safe way to harvest honey. Right now none of these bee nests have any honey. You can see that the little holes on the side are empty. Once there's enough honey in there to harvest, then you'll actually see honey like leaking out of this. So I'm going to give it a few minutes. I'll let these bees do what bees do. They'll go pollinate some flowers. They'll come back to their bee nest. They'll drop off the pollen, and after I think it's 4 or 5 trips, then there will be enough pollen in here for it to produce honey. Alright, so this bee nest over here now has enough honey. You can tell that the texture on the side has changed. There's obviously honey in that bee nest now. This one, we're still working on it. So you collect the honey with some shears, and if I were to do this right now, it would anger these bees. They would chase me, sting me, and die. So we're not going to do that. What we are going to do is right below the bee nest, I'm going to dig down and I'm going to put a campfire in the ground, and there's water right below that. Awesome. So I'll just put a campfire down there, and as long as there's a campfire within 5 blocks of the bee nest, then the smoke from the campfire, it will actually calm the bees down, and now you can harvest the honey, and you can see they're not coming out, they're not chasing me. So never ever harvest the honey from a bee nest or a beehive without putting a campfire within a couple blocks, and it does need to be unobstructed. If you put dirt or even carpet in between the campfire and the bee nest, it will obstruct the smoke and it won't have any effect. And the reason why I'm putting it so far down instead of right below it is because I don't want the bees to come out of their bee nest and take damage from the fire. So that's why I'm not putting the bee nest directly under, that's why I'm not putting the campfire directly under the bee nest. So there we have it. That's the easy way to get bees. Just plant some flowers and grow some trees next to the flowers, and eventually, after enough tries, you will eventually get a bee nest with a couple of bees in it. Now my plan for these bees is to eventually build an automatic honey farm, so we can get lots and lots of honey, we can make lots and lots of honey blocks, honeycomb. It's just, honey is something I didn't really use a whole lot of in my first season, and that's something I want to do different in this season. So look forward to that in the next couple of episodes. And I think I know what happened with my villagers. I think the rails, let me go show you. So the rails that I built a couple episodes ago to transport the villagers out of the trading hall into the zombifier, I put a gate above it so that zombies and other mobs couldn't get in. But I forgot about one very important, very dangerous mob, baby zombies. baby zombies are a thing, and they could absolutely get under these gates, and I think that's what happened. So I think I'm gonna have to modify this. In the meantime, I'm just gonna break this and put a solid block there so nothing can get in until I can come back with a better solution that hopefully doesn't involve having to break this and replace the rails every time I want to use it. So yeah, that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and big shout out to my patron Songliana Waterwolf. Thank you so much for your support. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please hit that like button, and while you're down there, feel free to subscribe so you'll get notified of future episodes as they come out. Thanks y'all, and have a great day.